Government is one of the biggest users of consultants, which are effectively labour hire companies because they don't have the public servants to do the job themselves.
Well, there's been a particular issue with PwC, of course, but governments and private sector companies have been using labour hire in all sorts of forms across the economy. It allows a certain flexibility for a lot of businesses that might need a surge capacity or a different expertise to come in. If you've got a project to do, you're not wanting to build up your full-time workforce to that extent. You want to be able to move into and move out of different supply situations. So the advent of labour hire has been a very good thing for the flexibility in the economy. And we would hate to see the Australian economy go back to an inflexible format where businesses can't adapt to what customers want. So that's the source of our opposition to the centralisation of the workforce.
And David, there's one other thing that strikes me about this legislation, about where the government wants this to go. If I don't want to work for a labour hire company, I don't have to. There are lots of jobs out there in our economy right now. Quite clearly, there are people who choose to work for labour hire companies. It gives them flexibility as well.
That's right. No one's forced to. It's voluntary. Some people find it very convenient for their own purposes. And so why would you want to put a hurdle in front of them from doing that? So quite a lot of people like to balance their work and family commitments. And so the advent of these forms of employment is a good thing in providing flexibility and options for people.
So today, say, for example, the ACCI Westpac Survey of Industrial Trends comes out. Now, this is the oldest business survey in Australia, so it's important and worth listening to. The one I'm picking up here, which is, running parallel to our conversation about this legislation, is just the labour market composite, which again shows weakening in the economy. But even as the Reserve Bank says, right now with a 3.6% unemployment rate, unemployment technically is too low in this country because it puts pressure on wages, inflation, and therefore on interest rates.
Yeah, obviously there's a number of things going on here. Employers are looking for extra workers, but the RBA does have an inflation problem. It is very concerned about wage increases, specifically wage increases delinked to productivity. So it's not that often that productivity takes centre stage in monetary policy decisions, but Phil Lowe has been quite explicit that if you don't have productivity and you just, by government or Fair Work Commission, put up wages, that's just going to feed into inflation. And he's left then with no choice but to jack up interest rates. And that's what happened. And so we're now pretty much in a similar situation where the bank is still concerned that expectations of wages are going up and up, and that makes their job that much harder. So they're trying to engineer a soft landing at the moment. Too hard and it's going to put the economy into recession. Too soft and they're going to have an ongoing inflation problem. I don't envy them their task, but that's why they're paid the big bucks.
Bring me back to the legislation we started talking about, the same job, same pay now, which is all about, effectively trying to stop rorts in labour hire companies. Do you think that the government has done enough so far that you can see to take away the attack, the combined attack of the employer groups in this country?
Well, we'll see what happens when they bring out the legislation. But we would say that to date, they've put out speeches and discussion papers, and the direction in which they're heading is a bad direction. It's going to constrain the ability of employers to have a flexible workforce. It's in the exact opposite direction to where we want productivity. The Productivity Commission chairman has been telling us loud and clear that productivity levels are the worst he's seen in 60 years. And even the latest national accounts that were out a week or two ago said that productivity is going backwards. So in that scenario, right here, right now, we've got industrial relations changes in the offing that are going to aggravate that situation. So we say, just don't go down that path. Yes. We should be going in a more flexible direction, but at the very least, let's not make things worse.
Yes. Tell you what, David Alexander, many thanks for your time here on the program today. Much appreciated.
Thanks, Ross.